Hey guys, welcome back. Sunday chat. Y'all lucky I'm here because I was napping on the couch and I almost stayed there. Let's see who we got in here. Chaos Prepper, I saw you and I appreciate your prayers. I'm still getting tons of emails, everybody praying. I greatly appreciate it tremendously. Like more than y'all know, that means a lot. Hey Rip Curl, Papa's Farm, I saw you guys. Sandy, Huckleberry's in here. The Prepping Artist. If I miss you, I'm sorry. I'm scared. Hey, Katrinka. Good to see you. Coffee first. I think I've got you. Okay. Miss Sharon. Yes. Oh, no. Okay, I guess we're going to do this again this week where it's jumping around. See? If I try to click on something, it moves. Anyways, bear with me. Make sure you're in live chat. Hit that thumbs up, all that good stuff. Thistle Moon, how are you? Dusty Country Roads. Gmal Michael G. I'm so glad you are here. Yeah, stay in that top chat, Prepping Artist. I know we all sit up there sometimes. Hey, Hillbilly, how are you? Okay, so anyways, there's a lot going on. We're hearing it left and right. I guess most of you heard that McCarthy and Mr. Potato came up. They had a compromise and reached to the debt ceiling was raised, but they just really all they've done is extended it to 2024 after the 24 elections. They said they have not set a dollar figure for it until after 2024 elections. Of course not. But part of that, hey, Sergeant Deacon, how are you? I'll make sure I'm not missing anybody. I'm sorry if I am. I appreciate you guys being here. And if you have something for me, please put it in all caps. I can see it easier. Is Adriana in here? I see Miss Sharon. Hey, Adriana. Kevin, how are you? I appreciate you guys. I guess part of that compromise that they had reached, McCarthy, of course, he caved out, or it was just part of it, that 98% of the 87,000 IRS agents are here to stay. Of course, we know what that's about. Huckleberry, yeah, he fixed it. So we have that going on. I figured they would do something, but I mean, really, they haven't. They have on paper to say, okay, we have something on paper to turn it in, and what was it? June 5th was their deadline. All they've done is they've done an extension. They haven't. I think they're going to finalize some more details tonight, is what I heard. But until the actual, black and white list of what's on it and everything comes out, I'm not going to go too much into it because, I mean, I've heard different things here and there, but I did hear those couple things, which we know what this is set up for. I mean, even with what's the CBDC rolls out in July, all I can say is please plan accordingly for that, as we knew that was coming. I don't know if most of y'all oh, of course. That's exactly what it always is. It's just, I don't know. I always say all this is theatricals. Let me see, make sure I don't miss anything. Oh yeah. It's always, I promise, in their benefit. They present it in different ways. It's always to keep the agenda moving forward. So, there's that. Also, I don't know if it's not mainstream and they're not putting much out on it. And I don't know how much I can say on here. If any of y'all are digging around and hearing what's going on in Peru right now. If not, I would look into that because they're not going to talk about it. Hey, Mad Outdoorsman. I'm so glad you're here. Speaking of Mad, tonight he usually has his Mad Outdoorsman broadcast on Monday, but it's tonight at 9 p.m. Head over there, throw his link down there. He's great. Go check him out. I enjoy his lives, his podcast. He gets into it. So the thing with Peru. Oh, and something to keep your eye on what's going on, because it's not what they're saying. Not in my opinion. It's not my opinion. Google, YouTube. The Texas stuff going on with the, Attorney General Kevin Paxton, the impeachment they've done with him. And what there, I believe, from what I understand, they throw them until it has to pass. I mean, they go and impeach them or remove them, and then it goes, they have to hear it again. I don't know. But we all know the things that he was battling and he stood for and he went against. Well, that, in my opinion, is why this is being done. Is not anything legitimate. But I feel like what they're doing with him is play a role in things that are they're planning for 2024. I'm just saying. That's what I think. So I think that's what's going on with that. And let me make sure. Hey, Cherokee, how are you? Just sneak in here. Gmail Nana, how are you? Yeah, all of this, it's just telling you, it's just paper trails, and it's just sign off thing and pushing things and moving things. It's like they're just shifting things all the time is what I think. Oh yeah. That's exactly what's going to, that what's going on with that. All of these little things that go on to me are just stepping stones to part of what their plans are. Hey, DC, how are you? Good to see you. So we have all that. And I had hinted on this before a little bit, but, DHS, I talk about them I usually do my videos on them. I used to do them on Rumble, or I do it over on the Liberty Tree. So I don't have to dance around over here, or they'll just take it down anyways. But they have you can go look it up on their website. They have a new anti-terrorism program that has kind of been out, and they raised the risk level for everything. But look into that, what Potato included in that, on who the groups of people that he has included in and labeled as T groups. Okay. That, I don't know why that's not that's not very alarming to many people on the groups of people he put in that. Maybe I'll do a video for LTF, but maybe most of you have seen it. It's right on their website. I'm sorry, but it's the new anti-terrorism program on their website. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. I know this isn't towards me. I'm all in y'all's conversation. This happens all the time to all of us. It happens to me, to people I follow. I constantly have people say, "Oh, where have you been? And are you okay? You haven't put anything out in a while." And they realize they were unsub, and nobody gets notifications. It is ridiculous. I have people I follow, and even I'll stay on there, but they will not show up in my feed. It is a pain. It's ridiculous, but that happens. If you ever kind of have a moment that you're like, I haven't heard or seen anything from them, go check and see if you're subbed. That's how all of us, I'm sorry. It's just how it's the games they play. Okay. Anyways, let me move forward. And I do have some stuff I'm going to go into deeper on LTF, and it's about the CDC. I can't talk about that on here. And they put out their new warnings for this summer. Of course they did. About things that are going to come back up. And I did a while back. I talked about BG and his list of 11 possible things that he was fearful of that could be the next illnesses. I've talked about that. Was last year. I did a video on that and talked about it. So CDC has released some new warnings on all that. I'm sorry, I can't get into it here, but that's something else to look out for. We've talked about this many times over and over again. We always say they're going to hit us it's going to be the overwhelming. They're going to hit us from all directions and so many different things. It's going to be hard to keep up. And they're going to present like kind of the headline type announcement of things, but they've slid. So, the deep down reality of things we have to dig around for. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Did I say something? I don't watch mainstream anything. Does he? Well, on this one, it's a primate type of one that was going around before, and they came up with a thing for it. Yeah, it's always that. It is always just in time. It's always just in time for something that's coming up. Always, but they had deadlines. We knew, over a year ago, they had deadlines of things that were going to happen this summer, 2023. And then we know what's coming, in 2024. And then they have deadlines again for certain things in 2025. There's another big one, just Josh and I talked about, for 2028. There's different, and then of course, right around that it's really coming up fast is of course the whole big 2030, all of it, right? Papa, that you're gonna have to eat. That's not appropriate for this live. I'm just gonna be real honest. That's not. It's whoever is part of that. That's not how that works. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how else to explain that. But this isn't the platform to bring it up on. Yeah, I'm sure they're always gonna find a reason to keep that distant and do voting that way. That's something they want to keep in place. So I think they'll always do that. They always, and anything that goes on, even if it's something that naturally occurs, they will always, they never let an opportunity go to waste, whether it's something that they've created or something that naturally, they will never let it go. They won't let it go to waste. They're going to jump all over that. So I'm going to go on to, that's some of the things I wanted to bring up about things going on, newsy type stuff. Usually we keep more low key, but I did want to talk, and maybe some of y'all can help me with it, is in my garden that I was doing well with my potato tower. It was doing great. It was doing great for a while, and then we've had so much. Our weather has been really weird. Like it's been raining so much, and this is the first day we've seen sunshine since sometime last week. Heavy bouts of drenching, rains we'll get, and it's been a little cooler. But my potatoes were doing great, and then they just took a turn and are not. It seemed like they were staying, even though they were in the tower, they were staying too wet. So that has not worked out well. I guess you would have to be south, in the southeast, to just maybe have some similar weather. Is anyone else having issues with their potatoes? Because I'm bummed, because we eat a lot of potatoes. That hasn't worked out. Now my sweet potatoes that are in the ground, they're doing great. That they're fine, and there's no issues with that. And everything else is doing good. We eat salads and everything regularly out of our garden, and it's fine. We're doing all, we have everything else, but the potatoes, they haven't done well. And so I don't know if anyone has any tips or tricks for that. I don't know at this point about saving some of it or not. Let's see. Mine were doing great in the potato tower. And then it is rain. It'll get like drenching rain. And I thought kind of in the tower it would be better because than that how we did it before. Uh, TT1 is in the house. um, my see, let me talk to you about buckets. I should take a picture. We have like how we collect our compost through the year. We do that all year, and we let things set and do how they're going to do. And then at the end of the season, we take that compost from all year and then we mix it into the new garden spot before it's trying a little bit before it's time to start planting the new season. And so I have just scraps in there, and I have potato scraps in there, and they are potatoes growing fantastic that were just thrown in there and no love or attention paid to out of the buckets. But the ones I loved on and took care of and put all nicely in my tower, all of a sudden they decided to be picky and it was too wet, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Do you have yours in the ground or in some type of container? And I'll even say a potato tower is a container because it's kind of above. You kind of build that up. I don't know. I mean, they were doing great, and I was like, I'm going to do this every year. I love how this is coming along, and I don't know what happened. And you know what we noticed is we were checking because they were getting. You can tell when they get kind of that waterlogged look on top, and we pulled it. Kind of pulled on a little bit to pull it back to open it, and the smell was horrific. And I was like, what in the world has happened? And it hadn't been like that. Yeah, I don't know what is going on. I mean, aren't potatoes like the easiest things to grow? I mean, I've had other root vegetables, my beets and carrots and stuff like that are doing. So I don't know. Which is a loss because potatoes you can survive off potatoes. You absolutely have to. Oh, Huckleberry thinks it's the hay. May have been. You do it in layers. People just like buy. I've seen people just buy bales of hay and not do dirt and put them in bales of hay with different things like that, and they come out. And ours it was like a parfait. It was it was soil and hay, and so and in between on each layer we planted them, and they were doing great. So pull them out. Would you put them in the ground? Is that what you're saying? Put them in the ground and start. No, usually you just put them in the ground and forget it almost. You can overwater them. There's that fine balance of, I don't know, my potatoes are more picky than like my sweet potatoes. My sweet potatoes do well in the ground. Potatoes don't usually like compact, rich clay type. It depends on what, I guess, your soil also. But you did a raised bed type dirt. But usually that's it. I mean, hey, Independent, how are you? Good to see you. You have a raised bed, Sandy. Okay. I did not add bone meal. I didn't. Because I don't know what, I mean, they took off, and then it really looks like they got too wet. Like, how they'll kind of get that root rot stuff but it won't just rain normal. Either it doesn't rain at all and we have to water, or it's like drenching, pouring. It's just pouring buckets and buckets, and everything else doing well with that, but they did not. That's what I think, Miss Sharon. I think it's it just I just think that's what happened. That's what it seems like. The hay's not right. Like, I have it on other things, and that's fine. I've used that, and we have it throughout in the other areas, and and the hay doesn't look rotten. And I mean, like, some of that hay will sprout out green. The chickens love that if you just pull that out afterwards. But when the green that comes off of that, but it just seems like it was waterlogged almost. They can, TT1. It's just, I mean, a potato. But that was kind of a hit for us because we eat a lot. Um, we eat a ton of potatoes, so that would have been nice to have. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to. I really thought this was gonna. I really thought the potato tower was gonna be the way. It just seemed easy, and I've heard really good things about doing it that way. And I see a lot. And I did see we did ours in buckets last year, and they did not do well. They just didn't do well either. Live and learn. Yeah, you lurkers, get in here. Pay your rent. Thumbs up and all that. See, some people that and see, Dusty, some people are not. We're way cooler than we usually are, which I'm not complaining because the heat and the sun. I struggle with the heat and humidity when it's really bad, but it's way cooler. We were cooler this weekend than we were in the winter here. It's just been really weird, and we just get these drenching downpours, or it can't just rain a normal amount. Oh, are you talking about for like raised beds? Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that. Oh, I need to put this. I need to put a picture. Um, I need to put a picture up here about the mole because I always talk about the mole issue on my Sunday chats on. And we have the windmill, and we bought the little sonic. It makes this sound, and you stick a stake down in the ground, and it wasn't getting rid of them. I was driving me crazy. I just could not get rid of this thing. I came out of the garden one day, and people who've seen my videos have been around. I have a duck named Pickles the duck, and she was following me around. She does. She follows you around like a dog everywhere. She was following around and came up to me, and I have the pictures. I keep forgetting to put them up. And she dropped something right where she was walking beside me, and I saw her stop and start looking, and she killed that mole. I don't know how she got it, and she dropped it right there beside me. So out of all the mess I've done, my daggone duck killed the mole and brought it. I've never seen that. I mean, I've had cats and dogs dig up moles and kill them and things like that. I've never seen a duck do that. Maybe I'll have, I don't know, but she took care of that for me. It was so weird. I couldn't help but laugh. Yeah. Okay. The weather. The weather's been weird. I have my opinions about that. Y'all know how I am. Yeah. The winter it was warm. And then that is what we had issues with when we put certain things in, and I had to replant because it was hot. It was our normal time to put things in the March. And then in April, we were having these freezes in the 20s and stuff like that. And then now it's really cool again. It's really weird, which is messing up because I had talked about before how I was having my broccoli and my bok choy was bolting, and I did a video, and I took the ones that were really bad out because they're not going to do anything. And I tried to save a couple that had just started. They have not gotten fixed. And those didn't do well, but they're funny about that temperature stuff. But like all my other things, I mean, really are doing great. I mean, things are just doing fantastic. Everything's taken off, ripening up like it's supposed to. So I don't know, but oh yeah, your zucchini and stuff. Now, like my squash, I have got like tons of my zucchini hasn't started coming up, but I planted that one later. But my yellow squash, I've got tons. I've got tons of squash. Yay, I know. Yay, Pickles. She's a funny little thing. I couldn't believe she got it. Yeah, I've had an awful last year it was fire ants. And then this year it's been moles, and I thought I was going to go crazy because they'll destroy your garden. That was the funniest thing. And I'm going to put the pictures up today when I get done with this. So that day. Yeah, I mean, it was so weird. She just brought it to me. It was dead and just dropped it on the ground like, here, and I was just like, I just couldn't believe she had she had done that. I didn't know that ducks did that. I mean, now she did. She had killed a toad um, like 2 weeks prior to that and left it on the patio. You know how cats will do that and bring you stuff? They'll bring you like, things like that. I, I don't know, but I'm grateful. It's weird though that she does like that, but she did. She took care of it. Oh, your spinach. No, oh, yeah, she was proud of herself. And I will put her picture. I haven't put her up in a while, so I'll put her picture with her kill up there. Yeah, so my spinach is done. My spinach is done well, but my bok choy. Oh, another thing I will say. Now you can still eat it this way, but I don't think it's quite been long enough. And because the weather will affect those things. Is my cabbage, like heads of cabbage? It'll keep coming and opening back up, almost like how collards do. Now you can still eat it like that, but like a head of cabbage, it's not coming together. Again, that has to do with this weird weather or water issues, but I think it had to do with the weather. From everything I see, the way it's acting now, you can still let it go and end up eating it that way. It just doesn't form you know, that head like it's supposed to. But yeah, we just ate a salad we eat salads all the time from out there, and we just ate one for lunch. And like my snow peas, we put those in our salad, or just, well, to be fair, we just eat them when we're in the garden doing work. We just pull them off and eat them. The kids and everything. But they all my beans have just taken off. My tomatoes are doing like fantastic. Like everything is, but just, I guess that's how it is though. It always seems like 1 year it's like, oh well, this year I just couldn't grow potatoes for anything, and then another year it's like I just could not get cucumbers for anything. I don't know why it goes and things like that. Oh, you talking about putting up sunflowers? I have sunflowers that are really, and the sunflowers I have in my garden are from like the birds dropping them, or just volunteer stuff, and they're humongous. I leave them because they're good for the soil, and depending on where they're at, it's a good like pole or post or something um for them to cling on to. So I leave them. Yeah, I know. And I was stressing. I mean, I was like, this mole, I go out there and it would tear up stuff. And I lost some things because I would go out there the next day and it had torn all through and it was sticking up and laying over. Um, and I couldn't get rid of it. I'll put the pictures up. Okay, Michael G, you have a good day. If I'm way behind, I appreciate you. Um, they always are. I think everything's better from the garden. I mean, our salads, everything. Um, I think it's all best. If you grow it, there's something about growing your own food and eating it. See, we're helping the bees. I do. I have different types. And I do have different types of sunflowers that are smaller than some of the ones I have that just kind of end up coming up. We have an area that is it's just for the bees, wildflowers and different types of pollinators and stuff like that for them. Let's see. Oh gosh. I don't know. Is y'all's chat acting crazy again? Because mine is over here. Dandelions. Yeah, if you know what true dandelions are. So dandelion, the tops, you can make different things from them. You can dry them and eat them. Every part of that is edible. Usually people eat is the greens. The leaf parts you can throw them in your salad, and they're bitter and they have fantastic, and they're edible and they're really good for you. And then if you dig them up carefully, is the root, dandelion root. That's something you clean it up and you roast it or dry it, like a roast it in the oven, like how you dry roast certain things. And you can chop those and do those like a tea. You would take the dandelion root in little chunks, and and that is really, really good for your liver and kidneys and stuff like that. Fantastic for that. I take the flowering yellow tops of dandelions. I pick those, and I make a salve from them. That is a good topical salve. But yeah, and dandelion's pretty identifiable by, it's the easiest one I tell people to start with if you haven't done herbal stuff or foraging or different things, and start with dandelions. Yeah, see, usually now I would expect it from, well, the cat that I have an outdoor cat, who's mean as he can be, and he doesn't. Now, if you have a bird feeder out, he'll go and kill all those little birds and stuff, which is ridiculous, but not productive stuff. He's not doing that. Hey, Constitutional Carpenter, how are you? Yeah, cats usually will bring stuff up like that. I was shocked my duck did, but it was pretty. I was grateful. I haven't ever seen that before. It was. Oh, let's see what you got. TT1. Is it only at night? I would say if it's at first I thought you were going to say it's like, for 1 year I had it and squirrels were digging up my stuff. It drove me crazy. Then it's probably something like a possum or something. You think? Do you have armadillos where you are there? Something. And that also. Oh my, yeah, I've had cats that will bring lizards and snakes and leave them on the front porch for me. If it's something I want gone, I'll all for it. Yeah, this I didn't even mention that, but yeah, dandelion jam is yeah, they call it fake honey. You can make that also. All kinds. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. I tell people, I'm like, get them all out, get the things you want before you just start like mowing and getting rid of them. Get it out, utilize that stuff. It's fantastic. It's really good for it. And most of them, I mean, you eat the different things. There's different things you can try. Like the root is really good. If you clean that up, you chop it into like little sections, not tiny, and then you roast them. And they're just really good for you. Medicinal wise, they're good. It doesn't taste great. Yeah, it is a bitter. And usually when you have a bitter, it means it's some type of detox for you, your liver, kidneys, everything. But dandelion and milk thistle are two of the best things for your liver health, detoxing and keeping that working properly. You can do just dandelion tea and stuff like that. Again, it doesn't taste great, but it's helpful. Oh, Dusty, the medicinal. Yeah, I want people to be. I try to encourage. I'm always like, you do what's best for you, what you're comfortable with, but please educate yourself on this, just in case. Let's just humor me, just in case we can't get certain things or get help or, the drill. It's all around us, and everything from allopathic medicine now originally was derived from plants and herbs and everything else. It's just that they had to go and mess it up and add their man-made stuff in it, which is why there's more side effects and issues. And if I've missed you coming in, I'm so sorry. I haven't, we don't have them here that I've seen, but I can't stand armadillos. I know that sounds awful. I don't know. They just gross me out. I mean, I'd leave them, if I've seen them on our family farm, we used to have them come around, but, I don't know. Maybe it's that hard shell or something. My big night predator of causing issues this year is possum. And all the years I've never had an issue with possum. I encourage and let them stay because they take care of your ticks and your snakes. And but now this year is where the possum have been. They killed several. They got a hold of 4 of my hens, and 3 of them they killed. And it was on camera. What it was at night and stuff. I don't have that. Again, it's like the same as the garden. There's like it goes in different years. Things are an issue. Like what was it last year? I had a problem with the fox. It just goes in those. I will say that since I haven't ever put a picture of it up, since I got um it's an owl decoy. It's a pretty big one, and it's like a bobblehead thing. Like when the wind things, it it's the head will kind of spin on its own or whatever, and you just move that like every week, twice a week. You just move that to different areas in that area of your yard or whatever, and that has kept because we'll hear you'll hear hawks or even owls at night. That has kept any prey birds from getting my free range pickles herself, my duck or my chickens. I mean, like I swear by it. I haven't had any issues because several years ago, again, we had that was things were getting picked off. But since we put that up, and I mean, we've even had it before we got that. We had some picked off by prey birds, and it's worked great. Of course, can't have us taking care of ourselves now, can we? Um, can't have that. Hey, Mrs. in Tennessee, how are you? Yeah, um, we have all of that here. The black bears come and eat out of the mulberry bush or come around. They don't really mess with us. Bobcats are no joke to me. I don't, look up in your trees because they'll get up above you in a tree and you won't even know they're there. Coyotes, we always have those in like the cold months. They'll start running in packs through the yard. We have to be careful. Okay, Katrinka, you have a good evening. I appreciate you. Yep. I am actually allergic to ginger, but yes, it is absolutely. I wish I could have it. It's fantastic for you. Um, oh yeah, yeah. If you can do different things, um, putting things around your tree line or different things. I think it was Michael G. who told me. Now I put minced garlic. Um, and you can put minced garlic in like the gallon size of vegetable oil and let that just ferment for a while till it's good and stinky. And put it in the sun and it'll do that. And that garlic will keep snakes away. You go out and unless you have a heavy rain, then you have to reapply it. Or if you have minced garlic starting in oil, I'll sprinkle that out and snakes can't stand garlic and they'll go away from it. I think it was Michael G who told me to put garlic out around the perimeter of the garden to keep the moles away, and which I have not done. I mean, I have garlic planted, but nothing else. But a lot of these, yeah, lemon balm, man. If everyone can get an herb, get lemon balm. That's what I say. It's a great one. Just get those herbs, and you can grow herbs in the house. Start small if you've never done stuff with herbs besides culinary type stuff. Learn their uses, learn their benefits, medicinal uses of stuff, learn them and then and herbs usually are so easy that you almost don't have to even mess with them. They're so easy. Um, and then dry them, cut them, dry them. You'll have them all year. And then they have so many different, and I mean, if you have your herbs, whether they're fresh or dried, we think about, you can make teas, you can make salves, you can make tinctures, you can make infused oils. And there's so many there's benefits of how you can use all of them. Tinctures will always have the longest shelf life versus like an infused oil. Salves, and again, it also depends on where you live and the temperature of where you're putting it at. But I mean, I've had some of those last 2 years and be fine. And tinctures will last a long time because the alcohol, will preserve that. And then if you just, if you dry them and they're dried properly and kept like anything else dried, you have them for very far down the road, and they're great. Just Josh, here he is. Cut that grass. If y'all did not see our live we did on Friday, you need to go watch it. It was on Just Josh channel. I mean, it blessed us also. It was just a good show. Go watch it. It was really good. I don't know. I guess it depends on where you're at. Oh, you're in Tennessee. Let me sign off. I'm sorry. I'm just reading comments. I don't know. TT1. Is it too late to plant gourds in Tennessee? Do you know? Um, yeah, most of my herbs will always come back over and over and over. I don't have like you winterize them. If you got to, a lot of my herbs I keep in containers because most herbs will take over. Um, but they'll come back over and over. I had my strawberries in a container through the winter and they've come back. And then we got a couple, just like maybe a handful of strawberries off of them so far. They just were not doing great. And just the other day, Huckleberry took them out and just put them right in the ground. I mean, just put them in the ground beside where the containers are for the herbs in the garden area. And they just oh gosh, thanks for letting me out of the cage. I mean, they're just doing great. Um, just hey Maverick. Good to see you in here. And if I've missed anybody, I'm sorry. We always do, don't we, Miss Sharon? We say it every week. I do appreciate all of you. I get so much help from you guys also. Oh, yeah. That's how I do mine. I just usually tend to do that. But that's I guess every year, the potatoes, I'm going to have to take a hit on that. But I mean, my garlic is growing and it's in the garden bags, the black garden bags. They're a type of material. It almost feels like a felt type material, and they're doing great in that. But I am boned about my potatoes. I don't know. And then I'm like, is it too late to just spin it back around and try something else? I got to try something. Of course, I have everything set and placed and laid out already. That's taken hold. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. Oh, let's give a shout out to the beaverines. Absolutely. We have to have that at least 3 times in every one of these. I'll have people throw it down. But that's about all. Nothing real exciting. Oh, mulberries are doing great. I talked about that earlier on that I was so worried because they went through an early bloom. They're doing great. We eat off that. I can't get them picked enough because the kids get out there and get on a ladder and go up there and grab them all down and eat them in the yard, which is fine. They have so many good benefits and stuff. But everything else is doing great. There's no potatoes. And the thing about potatoes, I've noticed since even all through the illness stuff, you would buy like a bag of potatoes, just russet potatoes, and which is what we eat. And it would be like at least a fourth or half of the bag would be the potato. When you cut it inside, it'd be rotten. It would be rotten. And so you're not there. I mean, are they having problems with growing potatoes too? I don't know. And so that was always a problem. So I just needed these to take off. Yes, he does. He'll answer you in here. He does in part of the one of the feeder things he gives them. He has lemongrass in that. When we had to feed them, put the feeder stuff in them when they were getting more established, because we didn't buy. He's going to explain about it. We didn't buy like ready. They were already established frames. Like you can get those in the already established frames, and you take them and you put them in your hive. We started from scratch. We had bare frames, and we just bought bees because we were like, if we're going to learn from the ground up, so we know how to do that. If you have to start fresh, and it's been a learning experience, but I mean, it's learning, so it doesn't sometimes it doesn't always feel like super easy, like learning. But I mean, truly, it's gone a lot smoother than I thought. I mean, and of course we love them and we're so excited about them. They're very peaceful and they're out there right outside the garden area. But yeah, he uses them. He'll answer you in here. He should still be in here. Yeah, I miss you. I mean, it's like, and you wouldn't, because I smell like everything. Like if you pick up a bag of potatoes, if you got a rotten potato, you can smell it. And that's what happened when we picked up that potato tower, moved someone around. It smelled. And so I knew that they had just waterlogged. They were just gross. You wouldn't smell them, but it wouldn't really be so much rotten on the outside as much. But you would chop them open, they would be rotten. They'd be gross. And I mean, here you are, you're wasting. Of course, the price of everything's gone up. So, and we eat a lot of potatoes. Oh yeah, it's been way longer than 6 months. It's been like a couple years. It's just been awful. It's absolutely embarrassing. I mean, and we do eat seasonal and grow as much of our stuff. Of course, in this, you can't grow everything in your areas, and see things that go on. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Onions and potatoes were the big ones that were just like, they looked awful. A lot of the fruit has been looking for a couple years, has looked awful. Yes, it is. And if you don't like it, you wait 5 minutes because it will change. That's just how it is. And then this year we had a warm winter and we're having a cool, which I guess it's caused problems for my garden stuff, but there's sometimes by beginning of May, it's insanely hot. It's ridiculous. But let me see. I'm sorry. I think I'm missing something. I keep having my chat go blank out. Yeah, I don't know what it is. They're just bad crops for the last couple of years. I mean, I have my opinions about what everything goes on with that. Same as the poultry and the cattle but we have like livestock fencing up around the garden and stuff and around our different parts of the land. Ours are attached to that and grow and go all over it. And I have taken sections of that with the poles, and you can either make it like an A frame, because we had that already though. I've seen that you'd be creative. I have actually used before also is take a pallet and do it like a lean-to, and things will grow on that. I've done that before. If y'all have ideas, throw them down there for her also. Yeah, of course, we're doing inspection. I think we're moved out because we started new. We didn't have established frames. At the beginning, you have to do it every week. You have to do it week. You have to get them in there, let them set for a week, and then take, certain things out. And then it's just these stages. And then after so long, it'll space out. And then it's every 2 weeks. And then you're not really in there so much. But when you first start, you have to because you want to make sure they're kind of taking cold and doing okay. Has the queen left? Is everybody okay? And that's because there's not established frames in there. And you have to make sure you're feeding them okay. He knows way more about it, but then it gets spaced out and you don't mess with them after that. Yes, that's another good idea. Miss Sharon, now I have the bamboo things we have those in there this year. And then if you ever have, like if you do like a Three Sisters garden, those are made to be because the corn will provide a stake for things to grow on. Things like that. Same as like the sunflowers. I said you can use that and things close to certain things. I try to do as natural as I can or use what I have. Of course, I have the round like tomato tower things I have up, and those are all my, you can do tomatoes or, your peppers or different things, my cucumber stuff. But then I kind of rotate every year. I think I kind of change. And then I've even had it where I'm like, I don't have anything else and this isn't near something. And you take your twine and go around like the biggest to kind of give it some structure. It depends on how heavy said plant is to hold it together. Um, I'll make sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, let me see. Yeah, see, I've seen the TP shape things for those. Anything they can get a hold of. Oh, those are nonstop here, day and night. But coastal and everything like that, it's nonstop. Yeah, it's not. It's all the time. Oh, yeah. I've had mine. I've had when we move it and rearrange things, and we have that, we'll have rolls that we'll put up or sections that we had to use that were cut off, and then that's why I have a section this year. I put up in there and have things up on it. Get creative. Doesn't I know I tell people, I'm like, this doesn't have to look all pretty. If it's functional and works, and it's not anything that's like, you know, well, because we do things natural, like something that would cause like a chemical leaking into our attachment. But get creative with different things that could be outside. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that. Miss Sharon will tell you because I never ask. Goodness knows. Thank you for her. Yeah, my berries are in containers, and I have them up against stuff, so they attach. But I have some bamboo, the little bamboo poles, and some with my blueberries as well. Hey, KP Heathen, how are you? Oh yeah, three sisters. They works really well. I mean, because it works really well, and what it's meant to do, it works. And Three Sisters soup is something I grew up on, and we eat. I have it in the freezer now. I just make it abundantly. It's a fantastic hearty soup. It's just really good. But I try to do that. Yeah, that bamboo fencing. You can do all kinds of stuff with that. And like I said, get creative on things that you can use. I mean, that's what I say. If it works, do it. Doesn't matter if it looks pretty or not. That's what I say. That's how I do it. And I change mine up all the time, it seems like. Three Sisters soup. Are you asking about that? Or saying, yeah, it's good. It's delicious. If you want the recipe, if you don't know what it is, if that's what you're asking, I will email it to you. Something I grew up on. But it's squash and beans and corn. And I usually always use butternut squash, but sometimes I do butternut and acorn, and then I do beans, some type of white bean usually. I do in there, and corn. I throw onions in mine, and then I throw spices. I always put turmeric in mine. I put cayenne pepper, and then Huckleberry puts more turmeric and cayenne pepper in his at the table. And I put onion in mine because I like it taste. But it's a fantastic hearty soup, and I always freeze it through the year. It's just really good. It's one of my favorite. It's a comfort food of mine. But um, it's very fulfilling, especially things that go on like with meat. If you can have it, so you're kind of getting that protein and that balance, and it's fulfilling. Oh, thank you, Maverick. I appreciate you too. I appreciate you being here. Yep. Yeah, you can always add onion to mine just because I like, onions and stuff. But yeah, peppers, anything like that. It's great. It's great. And if you spice it up, it's good for you. It's a big fall winter soup. Well, here it is. And it freezes well. It freezes well as long as you let it thaw out. I usually put like in the fridge or something, let it thaw out like a day or two, and then heat it up. It freezes and reheats very well. You should post the three. I have a Three Sister soup video on it's way back. There's a Three Sisters garden. It's a Three Sisters soup. It's down in my videos way back. I show and I talk about making it on there. And sometimes I make it in my crock pot. And then sometimes I make it on the stove because I bake my squash, whatever squash you want to use, you cut it open and I usually put some oil or something on it and I bake it accordingly, let it cool enough. I scoop all that out, add a tiny bit of, filtered water or anything to it. And I do my submergent blender and get that just like a puree because that's just how I like it. And then I add my beans and my corn and, my onions and spices and all that. And then I either put it in the crock pot or I cook it on the stove, just depending. But I have it down there. But if you have more questions if you see that video down there, just email me and I'll help you out or write it out for you. Yeah, it is. And you can add anything to it. And all of it in there is, it's just good for you. And like I say, I do like, of course I put salt and, you got to salt things up. And I do cayenne pepper and turmeric in mine. That's just how we like it. And it's just really good. But yeah, the base of it you can use for just about anything. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. We're having drenching rains. We'll just be flooded out. The ground is just flooded up there. This weekend we haven't seen it's getting overcast again, but the sun peaked out again, but we hadn't seen sun since last week. And it's been really overcast and windy because there was that storm coming up from Florida that came up. And it's just weird because it can't just have a steady rain. It's got to have a drenching downpour rain, which I think is what messed up my potatoes. But yeah, that's how I do mine. It's just a Three Sister soup. It's it's a traditional Native American soup, and that's how I do it. You can add whatever you want to it. If you want to put meat or something in it, you can, but it's sustainable for having your protein because of the beans and stuff like that, and nutrition from the squash and so on. It can be used that way. We don't eat ours with meat, but it's also one of those soups or meals that can get you through if meat is scarce or hard to, things like that, because you're going to get your protein and nutrition from it. But you can add, you can do, see Miss Sharon threw it up here. You can add whatever you want to it. Like Miss Sharon said, it's a great base. So, you can add whatever you want to it. I just haven't. We just don't. I just choose not to eat that one that way. And see some Mrs. in Tennessee. Yeah, then I have certain people tell me those we're so dry. I'm tired of watering. And then other places, MD Creekmore's in here. Yeah. I know. I have to get, and then I jump off here and I go start dinner. It's a great one. Like I said, it freezes. I usually try to get it last, but I'll make huge soup pots of it. And then I freeze it. I put away for another day, or I put away for the winter or different times. I just put it in a gallon size freezer bag, and you can use, like the big jar, like canning jar sizes, and freeze it like that as well. It works well. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I wonder if there was some thing. My strawberries usually come back every year. I winterize my stuff, and most stuff I have in containers, I bring it in. And kind of winterize it through the winter. Some of it I don't, and it'll still come back. Mine have come back, but I don't know. If anyone knows. Oh yeah, Cherokee. Yeah, it's just been it was super windy and overcast, and it just wasn't raining. And then it was raining and just raining nonstop. And then here, because we're in the South, it'll pour and rain and it'll be cooler and the sun will come out and the humidity will slap you in the face when you go outside. And that's just how it is. That's just how it does. Yeah, we've done it like kind of like a gumbo. We've put it over rice and stuff before, especially if it's so we're eating leftovers or we have a smaller amount. That's how you get those things to stretch. We would do the soup, but I would make rice and you can put it over top of the rice, and it's really really good. So it's like not everybody got a hearty amount of soup, but you got the fulfilling part on top of the rice. It's really good. MD always has great videos. Go check his books out. I think all of his books now. Buy him up. You're going to need it. I say all the time, hard copies, and he knows his stuff inside and out. He just does. He always has great, straightforward advice. Now he'll cuss you out too, but no. I say he's the Chuck Norris of YouTube. YouTube don't even mess with him. Oh, let me see. I don't know. Probably so. Because that goes very far. And, things that they're putting in there anyways, everywhere, that has a purpose to affect. And, you talk about your stuff that's in the ground, things with your water. And very well, it could have been, because wasn't it really high in ammonia and different, of course, other chemicals that it was causing, it was coming down, I would imagine, because it's going to cause like a burning or suffocation of things. And plants are living things also. It would cause the same thing. Look at the people who were having issues with, that wasn't even living right there, and all the birds and their chickens and everything were just dying from it. Yep. That's pretty much how it goes. We just sweat. Exactly. It is really good. Try it. It's one of those you always talk about extending your meals and getting the most, especially during harder times coming. But again, I am huge. I am such a nerd like that. Like, I love things from watching recipes. There's a lady up here, bless her, she's passed some years ago. And I didn't even know she had passed when I first started watching her channel. And it's like Clara's Kitchen. I love her. And I'll rewatch her videos over and over. She reminds me of one of my grandmothers. And is watch things or read. And I have books. I've shown one of my books back before. Is a lot of the recipes on how they extended food and got creative when things were so limited during the Great Depression. Look at those type of recipes. You're going to need it. At some point, we're going to need it. What now? I don't know, but there is I can't think of the website right now. There is a website that tracks any kind of different plane, like even the kind of looking glass one and different things. I just watched one the other day. I can't remember and I don't even know what popped up. It wasn't somebody I knew. Maybe it was like New York Prepper or something like that. And he was showing like the doomsday planes and stuff like that. They were out in their pattern. There's something you can look, but of course there's a reason behind all of it, but somebody else may know more about that in here than I do. I always say that. Plan accordingly and get your stuff and be careful. And I have more in the ground this year than I did last year. But then I always try to make sure I am growing stuff indoors in containers if I had to bring it in. That's why I talk about like even herbal stuff, because you're going to get double benefits from things like that. And I have certain things, especially things that will keep coming back every year. They're in containers for those reasons. And we do what we can. Oh, yeah. It absolutely will. The stuff that they spray up, the timing of when they do that, and you'll usually notice within the next 24 hours we'll have a good rain because it brings that down. Um, that's exactly. Yes, this is her. I love her. So let me tell you, this is how I am. And I'm tenderhearted. I'm thick skinned, tenderhearted, and that's how I've been my whole life. I had found her by accident, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I was watching her. So I was like, I'm gonna start right from the beginning. I watched one, I started right from the beginning, I started going through, and then I saw she had died like years before I'd ever found the channel. I I cried like it had just happened and she was my granny. Like for real, I was so upset. I just love her. I want, and I'll still go back and rewatch her videos. It's a comforting thing to me, I think. Um, I just love her. Um, oh yeah. And she has a video up there about picking how they would on their way home, or they would go out in the yard and pick dandelion greens so they could eat them first, so they could have so they have salad. Now the difference is being up north, they get those hard good winters where it's like snow. We get rain here, and so they could just put preserving things whether they had a root cellar or just outside in the winter. I don't have that benefit, and there are differences of growing stuff, but you can always, you know, substitute and change recipes a little bit and make it how it works for you. Even like the Three Sisters soup, make what works for you. Um, uh-oh, I don't know. Are you talking about Claire's thing? I just looked at it the other day. If that's what you're talking about. I'm probably really far behind. Oh yeah. Yeah. Any of those old ones because um I mean people knew they used what they had. They got creative with what they had and they knew how to survive. And that's what's important. I think that's what society's lacking. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys being here always. I have to go start dinner. I don't Yeah, Claire's, I don't know if that's what you're talking about. It should be it. I watch her all the time. Sometimes I just put her on. I will put her on and listen to her when I'm cooking and stuff. Well, JR, it's about time. JR's here. I gotta go. I appreciate you guys. Um, yeah, it's up there. She's a sweetheart. Her grandson, I believe, is what it did that for her, and he still will add things. And if it was like her birthday or contribution, not regularly, she's just a sweetheart. I just love her. Um, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. Keep doing the things, practice on these things. And now, like anything else I say, is like I talk about the medicinal stuff, is do these things, learn these things, get these things now. Same thing about these type of recipes and doing and trying these things from scratch and altering things and finding out how to I mean, I've done things, even force yourself to do it and say, if I only have this, I need to make a meal out of this. I have 3 or 4 items and I need to make a meal out of this and I need to feed my family off of it. Practice those things now, because it's better to do it now than when you're forced to. And also tonight, don't forget, Matt, he was in here earlier. He has his Mad Outdoor broadcast tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go check him out. I appreciate all of you. I am always praying for you guys. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.